This has got to be the most unusual January, so start to the gardening season, that I've ever had. Some things are much like they always are. I have lots of my pots and containers overwintering here in the polycrub. The cuttings that I took, the hardwood cuttings in the last video, they're all safely tucked up in their snail rolls. I doubt that there's any roots on them just yet, but it is important to keep the potting mix just moist. Not sopping wet, but just moist. And these actually drain pretty well. So the deal is that we are currently trying to sell our house, and it's been on the market since September. We've done so many viewings, and we are cautiously optimistic that we might be in the new house in spring or early summer. Fingers crossed. But where does that leave me with the garden? As I walk around my growing space, I'm noticing some early signs of spring. There are green leaves coming up, so my garlic and elephant garlic. I've noticed that the rhubarb is starting to show. The perennial leeks are up and proud. There are so many plants ready to go, ready for this year. And I want to take some of them with me to the new house. And so the clock is ticking on being able to divide and take as many plants as possible. Now, we have quite a few plants to take with us when we do move, and I have been busy digging up some more, which I have right around the house by the front steps. At the top of the stairs by my door, I've got a collection of pots. These are all plants from the garden that just a couple of days ago I dug up, completely cleaned the soil off, and then repotted them on. There's also some dahlias here that I lifted in the autumn. And we have a lilac here, my fancy bearded irises that I only planted out last year. I've got 3 pear trees in here as well. And these are just the start of the plants that I'm going to be taking with to the new property. One of my biggest challenges isn't just digging up and organizing all the plants I want to bring with, but it is that my garden has the New Zealand flatworm. Now, it hasn't stopped me from gardening here, but it does mean that there is a significant decrease in the population of earthworms. I still have them, and I have to be very proactive with picking the New Zealand flatworm off each year. And last year, I probably picked off and destroyed close to 200 of them. And that is going back to the same place again and again and again, and just getting more and more. I don't know if the next house has the New Zealand flatworm. I know for a fact that it has the Australian one, which is the little pink one. It's not nearly as bad as the New Zealand one though. So what I am going to be doing is all the plants that I'm taking with that are going to be in pots are going to have to be cleaned. So that means digging them up now that it's the dormant season, replacing the potting mix, and then storing them in a place that is away from the New Zealand flatworm. And this is one of the only places that I think is safe here at the house. This is up some stairs by the front door, far away from the garden. If they're up here, I've never seen them, and there's no reason for them to be up here. And what I hope to do, and I'm trying to get permission right now, is to move plants to the property that we're buying before the sale is finalized. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed because it's something that would really help me in cleaning these plants and taking them so that I can reuse this space for more plants. And that is my biggest challenge. The other thing is that when we moved to this house, I left a lot of plants in the previous property, and I had this thought that the next owner would love them. And it turned out that no, they did not, and they completely cleared that garden. So I'm not making that mistake twice. I'm going to be taking the plants that I love with me while not destroying the garden. I'm leaving plenty here. I've got so many plants, as you know. So this is the start of a pretty big project, and it's not going to be cheap either because I am buying the potting mix in bags. It's not coming from my garden because I don't want to take any chances of New Zealand flatworm coming with me. Thus far, I have collected quite a few plants to take with me to the new house, and I have been using different techniques, including division, which means that you take a parent plant, a perennial, and you chop it or break it into several pieces. Each clump will grow into its own individual plants. I've also been taking hardwood cuttings from some of the roses and fruit bushes and shrubs here in the garden, and those are all growing in the snail rolls that are inside the polycrub right now. I've also been lifting some plants whole, and I'm avoiding trying to do this because I don't want to leave the garden bare for the next owner. I think we should have a little stroll around the garden, and I'll show you some of the plants that I'm planning on taking with. Now, starting over here, I have thornless blackberries, 3 of them, 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna take this one, I think, with me. I didn't get cuttings last year, and I absolutely love my thornless blackberries. Also in this area is the Balking 14 comfrey. There's several large clumps, and I'll be taking a little bit from each. Over here, I put in 2 lavender hedges. Now, this is a tricky one. I have not yet decided what I'm going to do here because this could be a huge job trying to move, and it would also increase my chance of getting New Zealand flatworm. So I'm still thinking about that. Below the lavender, I have several marshmallow plants, and these tall plants are excellent in skincare and herbal medicine. I will definitely be taking some with. I took cuttings of black currant. They are in the snail rolls, but I have several of the plants, the shrubs, so I might take one of the smaller ones just to get me started. The same goes for raspberries. I'm not sure about taking any from this particular bed, but I do have some in other parts of the garden. Rhubarb, definitely coming with, as are the globe artichokes that are up here. And one of them got knocked over by the wind. You can see it over here. I've just left this here to the side, but the plant actually has some small leaves coming up, so I'll be able to save this plant. You can tell that us moving house was not planned because along here I have a row of asparagus, and this would be the first spring that I could harvest from them. I planted them no dig style, and there are several along here. You can see some of the stems coming out at intervals. There's one over there, right here. So I'm wondering if I could take at least a few of these with me, maybe gently lift them up. You can see that some of the roots are actually exposed. I tend to mulch these really well, and they're not that deep. So I'm gonna try. All of the really mature fruit trees are staying. So this entire row of minaret fruit trees is staying. Very sad, especially since I've worked so hard on creating these apple archways that are beautiful. But there are some things that I am taking. I'll be taking the blueberries here, the honeyberries, probably some of the strawberries, and as I go along, I'll just make decisions as I see the plant and decide, do I want to take this or not? The roses on the far side of the garden, I have not yet decided whether or not I'm going to take those, but I will be taking some of the echinacea, and I will be taking the rose, the Bulgarian essential oil rose that I planted this year. It's up by the rose arbor. When we moved here 5 years ago, we moved in spring, and shortly before, I dug up my 2 David Austin roses that I had planted at my old house, and they were only a couple of years old, or a couple of years in the ground. Even then, they were tough to dig up, but I managed, and I brought them here. And I wasn't sure if they would survive, but they have, and they have covered this archway. They're so beautiful. I've used them to make rose hydrosol, rose food recipes, and they just smell so beautiful. I'm also relieved that I took them with, because the guy who bought our house flattened the garden, and I would have been devastated to find out that they had been ripped up and thrown in the bin. So I'm not really sure about these. I'm going to miss them. I did take cuttings, and if they do not take, if it doesn't work out, I'll just end up buying some more bare root roses, which is how I got these two started. And that is something that you could consider doing right now in your own garden. Now, bare root plants, so bare root shrubs like the hedgerow that I've planted, bare root strawberry plants, bare root roses, you order them in winter. They tend to arrive at your doorstep when it's time to plant them, and you just get them in the ground. They are still dormant, and when they start waking up and growing, they won't even know that they have been transplanted from their original bed. And it's such an economical way to start off perennials. There are tons of other things that you can do for your garden this month as well, but most of them are indoors. One of the most satisfying things you can do is go through your seed collection, get rid of the ones that you don't want, maybe take them to a seed swap, order new ones as well. You can flip through catalogs, think about plants that you saw last year or that you've always wanted to grow, get those seeds ordered so that you have them ready for spring. There are also tools to clean, the shed to tidy up. You could also mulch your beds if your ground isn't too frozen. And there are even a couple of seeds, vegetable seeds, that you could sow as well. Now, most things really need to wait, and my general rule is sow your seeds about 4 to 6 weeks before you expect to be able to plant them outdoors. There are a couple of exceptions though, and hot chili peppers, not mild ones, but hot ones, they need a long growing period and they are slow growing plants. The other thing is onions. So onions from seed. And the traditional day to start sowing them here in the British Isles is Boxing Day, which is December 26th. I missed out on that. It just got away from me, but I got my onions sowed this week. Besides moving everything that will be in the house, everything that will be in the garage, in the shed, and in the garden, I'm also going to have to be moving these guys, my colonies of honeybees. I've just got the 2 left, Greba and Primrose. Bluebell didn't make it this last summer. So I've got 2 colonies to take along with me, and moving them in winter is super, super easy because there aren't as many bees inside. They're not quite dormant, but they're very quiet. So I can just basically bundle them up, put them in the car and take them away. But once March kicks in, they're going to start increasing their numbers and getting busy and buzzy, and whew, it'll be a lot more challenging then. Totally doable, but more challenging. So fingers crossed that we've got some movement. This is the state of my garden right now in January. I've not done very much in the way of prep work for the coming year. I might still be here. I don't know. It's just such in limbo at the moment. I've never had to deal with something like this in a gardening year. Deciding, do I garden? Do I not? Where am I going to garden? What's going to happen? It's just nuts. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.